லலிதா சாஸ்திரம் தமிழ் சூப்பரா இருக்கு.
समझी प्रणाम।
ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಸರಿ ಇದೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Dear devotees, today we shall study the life of another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Abhedananda. Just now, you heard the song Prakritim Paramam, which I am sure you are all very familiar with this song, especially the devotees who come to the Ramakrishna mission. This is a song on Sri Sharada Devi, and it has been composed by Swami Abhedananda, whose life we are going to study. And this song also has a wonderful history. This is on Sri Sharada Devi, and one day Swami Abhedananda sings this song in front of Mother herself, and we will discuss about it in our next discourse. It's a very interesting incident is there. Many of you may be already knowing also. However, Swami Abhedanandaji was one of the pure, rare souls who gather around the magnetic personality of Sri Ramakrishna. His pre-monastic name was Kali Prasad. Kali Prasad, the name was given to him by his mother because she prayed to Mother Kali for a long time for a son, and when the son was born, the mother, in memory of her prayer, she gave the name Kali Prasad. Kali Prasad means the prasadam or the prasad given to her by Mother Kali. Now, his mother was very highly devoted, and she was praying to Mother Kali for a son. So, as a gratitude, rather being blessed by Mother Kali, a son was born means you can very well understand what type of a son he would be in the future. So his father was an English teacher. He was a voracious reader, and that his son Kali imbibed from his father, and they, in his young age, both father and the mother used to tell lot of Puranic stories to the young boy, which influences his life a lot, which we will see in the future. And also, from the young age, he was fond of Sanskrit language, a very rare thing. Usually, that to the British period, Sanskrit was a neglected language. Very few people used to study, and the encouragement was more for English. This Kali Prasanna, somehow he got interest in Sanskrit, and he started reading that, and he was a voracious reader. Whatever book he would get, he will immediately take it and read it. And when he was in his entrance examination, in the final entrance examination, by that time, from the library, he had brought the Wilson's History of India. You can very well understand what various interests this young boy had, even in that young age. There is there in that history of India, he came across the life of Shankara. The life of Shankara, it inspired him, and he then thought he also should become, like Shankara, a philosopher of a great learning. So, Shankara's philosophy, the Advaita philosophy, he started reading even when he was in the final year school student. he was also fascinated with with the Sanskrit language. So he started going to he wanted to learn Sanskrit. So in the evening hours, he go to a Sanskrit school where Sanskrit was taught. So he started learning that Sanskrit language also when he is very engaged. He was also fond of memorizing these Sanskrit verses, the Hitopadesha, Ramayana, all many of the shlokas from these texts he used to memorize. And at the age of 10 itself, he had mastered Sanskrit to a great extent. A young boy of 10 years, you can well imagine his interest was in Sanskrit and the shlokas. And he could memorize and repeat number of shlokas. He also got slowly interest in Western philosophy. Practically the Indian philosophy, all the important things, many of the interesting things he had read it. Then his eyes fell on Western philosophy. He started, even at a tender age, he finished reading not only difficult books like John Stuart Mill's Logic, three essays of religion, but also he got interested later in astronomy, physics, etc. And Kalidasa's works, the Sanskrit works was his favorite, and he had read Kalidasa's dramas, Kalidasa's poetry, all those things he had finished, and wherever there were lectures on interesting subjects by eminent speakers on philosophy, he would promptly attend those lectures. He was also interested. You can well understand towards what his mind was working. He was not much interested in play. He was not much interested in friends. A few good friends he had. But wherever there is a lecture, public lectures on philosophical subjects, he would be the first to attend those things. He also heard lectures delivered by, in those days, there was a great Sanskrit Pandit, Shashidhara Tarkachudamani. He was a noted scholar, and a lot of crowd used to come for his lectures, and he attended his lectures also, and once he gave a lecture on yoga system of philosophy. Shashidhar Tarkachudamani gave a series of lectures on yoga school of thought. So he attended that, and Kali, he now started searching for a suitable guru to practice yoga, because mere reading of those things he thought he should practice. It was so tempting, especially the third chapter in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The Patanjali speaks of different siddhis, or the miraculous powers which can be attained through meditation. So this Kali Prasad, he wanted to test whether they are all true and whether it can be attained. So he also wanted to practice yoga, Patanjali's yoga. Yoga does not mean these physical exercises which you usually call. But Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he studied, and then in that, what is taught in the third chapter, that siddhis, all those things he wanted to experiment by meditation. But one of his friends advised, rightly advised, that that is not advisable to practice yoga without a proper guru. A guru must be there to learn these techniques of this yoga meditation. So he started searching for a guru. Then somebody tells him at that time that there is a Paramahamsa by name Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, and he will be the best guru. If you can go and meet him, he will be able to teach you this yoga philosophy and its practice. So from then on, his mind started working how to go to Dakshineshwar, but because he has to avoid his parents, he should go secretly. His parents may not permit. So he was wondering how to go, where Dakshineshwar, that all those things he did not know also. One day casually he had asked his mother, where is Dakshineshwar, where is this Kali temple and all. Mother has a young boy who is asking out of curiosity, thinking that she had told him where Dakshineshwar is situated. So one Sunday, early morning, he got up and wanted to go to Dakshineshwar. But it was not so easy to go to Dakshineshwar because it was a long distance from Calcutta. So somehow he started walking, and it was summer and it was very hot also. Even then, going this way, that way, and losing the road sometimes, and again coming back, and again going like that, he went on walking, walking, walking to perspired, to tired. At last, he reached Dakshineshwar. And it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 a.m. The sun was very hot. So he went to the Ganges, washed himself, and then went to there was a room he saw. Probably he thought that must be Sri Ramakrishna's room. Rightly he recognized, and he went there, and the door was closed. He was sitting on the steps of Sri Ramakrishna's room. By then one gentleman comes, and he was Ramlal, Sri Ramakrishna's relative, the pujari of the Kali temple. He asked Ramlal, where can I meet Sri Ramakrishna? To his disappointment, Ramlal said, oh, you have come to see Sri Ramakrishna, but unfortunately today Sri Ramakrishna has gone to Calcutta. He was shocked. I have come all the way from Calcutta, and Sri Ramakrishna has gone there. Then he inquired at what time he may be returning. Then further disappointment was there because Ramlal said it will be about 9 o'clock in the night. Then he became very much disappointed. Oh, then I will not be able to meet Sri Ramakrishna today. And he was very exhausted also, hungry also, and he had no money also to return either by the boat or by any coach. So then and another gentleman comes. It was in the year of 1884. Then another gentleman comes there and seeing him, he was of the same age practically. He asked, who are you, where from you have come, what for you have come, and all those things. Then Kali narrated. The another friend, the boy who had come, he was none other than Shashi, who was to become the future Swami Ramakrishna. He had also come to meet Sri Ramakrishna, but he had come earlier also 2-3 times. And now, when he heard from Kali that Ramakrishna has gone to Calcutta and he will return only in the night, then he was thinking what to do. Then he told Kali, see, having come here, we should not go without meeting Sri Ramakrishna. Let us wait here, and then when night he comes, we shall stay here tonight, and then tomorrow morning we shall return. Then Kali became afraid, and he said, informed at home, they will be searching. But Shashi said, oh, all those things can be tolerated. What is meeting Sri Ramakrishna is more important than all these things. It does not matter. He persuaded him. Let us see what will happen tomorrow when you go home. You can explain. So like that he went on telling, and he was also very much tempted to stay and meet Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna, as Ramlal said, he returned in a coach. It came at about 9 o'clock in the night. Then he came, Sri Kali silently followed Sri Ramakrishna, both Kali and Shashi. Shashi went in and did the pranam. He was waiting outside. Then slowly he also entered. Then seeing Kali, Sri Ramakrishna inquired his name, and then Kali straight away, he expressed his desire of learning yoga. Sir, I have come here in search of you to make you my master, and I want to learn this Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I want to practice and the meditation, what is taught in that. And so I wanted a guru, and somebody suggested you will be the best guru. So I have come in search of you. You should bless me and may take me as your disciple. Then Sri Ramakrishna, as usual, looked at him, tested him, and he said, why do you want to learn yoga? Then probably he wanted to know whether he is interested in the siddhis, attaining for that miraculous powers. Then Kali replies, no, sir, I want to attain to the state of samadhi, which has been explained in the Yoga Sutras. Sri Ramakrishna became very happy. Then he said, all right, you stay here tonight and come tomorrow morning, I will teach you yoga. He became very happy. So he and Shashi, both of them, slept in the veranda of Sri Ramakrishna's room. And in the morning, he asked, then come, call that boy, new boy. Shashi Maharaj went and called him. He came. Then Sri Ramakrishna, looking at him, said, you see, by looking at your face and the features, I can understand that you were a yogi in your previous birth, and I shall teach you yoga. And then, but only thing is, you will have to have patience and you have to learn properly. Kali nodded his head, and next morning, when he came, Sri Ramakrishna, when he had met him, the next morning when he came to him, he told him that you were a yogi in your previous birth, and also he told him, all right. He took him to the northern veranda, and there was a small cot. He told him, sit here in a meditation posture. So Kali became very happy. The very first day itself, he is teaching me. He sat there. Then he told, open your mouth and stretch your tongue. Kali did accordingly. Then Sri Ramakrishna wrote a mantra on his tongue. As soon as he wrote a mantra, and he kept his hand on the chest of Kali and said, now close your eyes, pull back your tongue and meditate. Kali did accordingly, but the moment he closed his eyes, he lost external consciousness and went into the deep meditation. Kali says, I did not know how long I sat like that. There was a great bliss inside my heart. I did not know anything. After a long time, Sri Ramakrishna kept his hand on my chest, and then slowly I came into consciousness. Sri Ramakrishna asked him, what did you enjoy? What did you experience? Kali said, I forgot the whole world and I was in supreme bliss. So never I have had this experience in my life. Sri Ramakrishna just laughed and said, yes, you were a yogi in your previous birth and a little was left. So in this life it will be fulfilled and you will have no more birth in future. You will become liberated. He became very happy. Then after some time, they were sitting there. Then Sri Ramakrishna called him and said, now you see, you came yesterday morning you left your house, your parents will be searching for you. Today is enough, you go and come back again. This come back again is a magical words of Sri Ramakrishna. Once he utters to anybody, they could never remain without coming. So all his disciples, all the young boys, we see in their lives, Sri Ramakrishna, this magical word, come back again. That means Sri Ramakrishna has caught them. So he agreed. By the time one gentleman comes in a horse coach to see Sri Ramakrishna, then Sri Ramakrishna said, wait, this gentleman will go back after some time. You go with him. He will take you in his coach. Accordingly, the gentleman agreed, and then Kali remained for some more time. And then when that gentleman returned, he took him back in his horse carriage. He did not have to walk, and he also had no money either to go by boat or a coach or whatever it is. So anyhow, he got a free lift, so he went along with him. By this time, there was a panic at home. The boy had left Sunday morning. Whole Sunday he has not come. They did not know where this boy has gone. They searched everywhere. They could not find. And then ultimately, his mother remained. Then one day he had asked me the way to Dakshineshwar. I suspect he might have gone there. You please go there and find out. Then her husband, naturally, he took a boat and then for a small distance, a coach. Then he reached Dakshineshwar and met Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oh, you are his father. He has only some time back, I sent him by a horse carriage. He has gone back home." Then father said, "Sir, that Kali, his name is Kali." "Yes, yes," he told me. "Kali is my son. Please advise him to get married and become a householder." This is the usual thing with every parent. This is. Then Sri Ramakrishna replied, "Say, your son is a very great yogi. Why do you force him for marriage?" Then his father said, "It is the supreme dharma for a son to serve his parents." Sri Ramakrishna just laughed and kept quiet. Look at the Maya. This is a great Maya. That not only it applies at that time for Sri Ram, this Kali or somebody else or any boys, even today, probably ages to come, this one. The Maya spreads in such a way. The parents, they know they have enjoyed, they have suffered, they have enjoyed, they have lived full life, and they also have understood there is no joy in this world. Only appearance, joy is only an appearance. And we all know that, oh, how much of suffering, how much of suffering. Every day the parents tell the same thing. But in spite of it, nobody wants their son to become to a sannyasin or a yogi and to renounce the world. Everybody parents' desire is when my son will marry, when my son will marry. In a grand manner I should conduct that marriage. And then husband and wife they will live. Most of the houses you see what joy is there. Every father or mother said they say, "What is this life? What is this life? Too boring." But still, they don't want their children to take any other path. This is called as Maya. Maya does not leave. So anyhow, the same was in the case of Kali's parents. But fortunately, then Kali did not get caught in that marriage business. He was going to the Dakshineshwar as usual, but his big parents became alarmed. As usually they do it, the parents, they locked him in the house. The main gate was locked and Kali could not go out of the house. So he was trying to do some spiritual practice at his home, but his mind was pulling towards the Dakshineshwar. One day somehow somebody had kept that gate open. Seeing that, immediately he ran, he left the house, and he had some money also. So took a boat and then a coach, and then he reached the Dakshineshwar. And and that night also, Kali stayed at Dakshineshwar itself. He had no mind to return to his house. And he started practicing meditation under the guidance of Sri Ramakrishna, this one. But after 2, 3 days, again their parents came, they took him back, but he was very, very indifferent to the world. Always he will lock himself in the room, read books, and practice meditation. On a deep meditation, he will enter. One day in his meditation, it so happened, he started seeing Sisi sitting for a meditation for a long time in a meditative posture, closing his eyes. Then within himself he saw lot of gods and goddesses appearing one after another. Shiva, Buddha, Shankara, all the incarnations and also the gods and goddesses one by one. Krishna, Rama, everybody in a very, very shining, such a shining. Oh, his heart could not contain the bliss, so much of this one. Then all used to come, appear, and merge in the body of Sri Ramakrishna. One after another, one after another. Ultimately, Sri Ramakrishna remained alone in his heart. Then he remembered Sri Ramakrishna was, later on he remembers, Sri Ramakrishna was addressed by Swami Vivekananda as Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya, Sri Ramakrishna. That's why Swamiji says, I cannot explain what Sri Ramakrishna is. Who Sri Ramakrishna is, it will remain a mystery to me ever in my life. So, this Sri Ramakrishna was got attraction for Kali also. Then, on that day, as soon as he got up from the meditation, he could not contain himself and he ran to Dakshineshwar and narrated everything to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna knew already all these things. So, Sri Ramakrishna remarked, oh, today you have seen Vaikuntha. That is the end of the life. That is the end of the spiritual practice. Hereafterwards, you will not have visions. You have risen to the formless state. Then you will enter into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. You will have the realization of Supreme Brahman, who has no name, no form, but Sachidananda Swarupa. So Abhedananda was blessed with that vision on that day, and then onwards his mind raised to the formless gods. He was formless state. After that, he was fully convinced then that Sri Ramakrishna was not an ordinary person, he is an avatara, the God incarnate. Sri Ramakrishna is the God incarnate. He got that vision. Now, later on, when he becomes a monk, Swami Abhedananda, when he becomes, then he writes a book, the Memoirs of Sri Ramakrishna. That is, the Reminiscences of Sri Ramakrishna, that it was the autobiography of Swami Abhedananda. There in that he writes, whenever I went to Dakshineshwar, I would give personal service to the master. He started serving Sri Ramakrishna. Then he said, I would carry his towel and water pot when he went to the pine grove to answer the calls of nature. Sometimes the master would walk around the Panchavati with his hand on my shoulders. I also went with the master to Girish Star Theatre to see the Chaitanya Leela and Prahlada Charitra plays. Every Saturday and Sunday, devotees would gather at Dakshineshwar to see the master. Lot of devotees used to come on the holidays. So I also began visiting him on Saturday afternoons, returning to Calcutta the following day with some devotees. So whole day and night he used to stay. Saturday, Sunday he also started spending with Sri Ramakrishna. Thus, I became acquainted with other disciples of the master. Naturally, number of other sannyasis who was to become sannyas in future, like Rakal, Naren, Subodh, with all those became, all those persons became his personal friends. I would really feel immense bliss in my heart to hear the teachings of the master. He has collected the teachings of the master also in a book form later. And now he was getting attracted to the words of Sri Ramakrishna. When in ecstasy, he would sometimes laugh, sometimes cry, sometimes dance, and sometimes go into samadhi. He has seen Sri Ramakrishna in different moods. So that's what he writes there in his autobiography. Sri Ramakrishna would sometimes laugh, sometimes cry, sometimes dance, and sometimes go into samadhi. In a day, several times Sri Ramakrishna used to go to samadhi. We read in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Again, at other time, he would joyously sing in his melodious voice the songs of the Ram Prasad, Kamala Kanta, and other mystic composers. So Sri Ramakrishna was fond of music. He used to sing himself and also ask Narayan and also ask other people to sing. And whenever they used to sing, he used to start dancing and lose consciousness and enter into the samadhi. He would sing kirtan depicting the Radha and Krishna's divine play in Vrindavan. Sometimes while describing the divine play of Rama and Sita, he would, like the great saint Tulsidasa, float in the ocean of bliss. The spirit of the harmony of religions was reflected in Sri Ramakrishna's everyday life, and he constantly taught his followers the liberal universal message: as many faiths, so many paths. This is one of the main teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, which Swami Vivekananda later on explains. He makes Sri Ramakrishna, the special quality was, Sri Ramakrishna always used to say that all the paths are true. As many faiths are there, so many paths are there, but all lead to the single God ultimately. Just as Abhedananda experienced in his meditation, several gods and goddesses merging in the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna was not only the combination of all gods and goddesses, he also taught people that each path is different, no doubt, but the goal is the same. So he says, as many faiths, so many paths. Ramakrishna also used to teach us to chant Haribol, Haribol. Literally, chant the name of the Lord, chant the name of the Lord loudly while clapping our hands. When somebody asked him the reason for clapping one's hands, Sri Ramakrishna said, as the birds of the tree fly away when one claps one's hands loudly, so the sinful thoughts of the mind go away when one chants God's name while clapping one's hands. Usually, how to merge ourselves in the God's thoughts. The best way, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, he used to imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was doing this kirtan, chanting the name of the Hari Bol, with all his disciples, and go walk in the road, and then make all other people also to come gather. And he used to say, chant the name of the Lord. So Sri Ramakrishna also used to tell, you see, the best way to forget ourselves, because when you sit in meditation, we all know our mind is so restless, it goes in so many places. We will now, it's very difficult even to get concentrated even for a second. So such a mind, what is to be done? How to get it into the Lord? Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Bhajan, Nama Sankirtan. That was his favorite teaching. So many times in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we read, the disciples put the question to Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, can we see God? Sri Ramakrishna, in his own inimical way, yes, why not? Not only that, we have come to this world only to see God. But unfortunately, we have forgotten that. We are busy in the world. But Sri Ramakrishna says, now, the goal of human life, the purpose of our human birth is to see God. See God. Don't forget that. It should be always ringing in our heart. I should see God. I should see God. Then one devotee asks, Sir, what is the way? How to see God? You are telling yes, householders also can see God. We are all householders, busy with our worldly things. How can we see God? Sri Ramakrishna's inimical reply was, he says, chant the name of the Lord. Loudly chant the name of the Lord. Clap your hands. When you clap your hands and loudly sing, then just like when you stand under a tree and loudly clap, then all the birds which are sitting on the tree will get frightened and fly away. In the same way, if you can clap your hand and sing the name of the Lord, there are a number of birds singing in your heart. They are all sinful birds, kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, all these birds, they are sitting in your heart. When you clap loudly and sing the name, the glory of the Lord, the name of the Lord, all those birds, the so-called birds, they will fly away from your heart and you will become pure. Then it will be able to concentrate your mind. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say, for that, chant the name of the Lord, then go into the solitude once in a while. He used to say, always you stay in your home. What can be there? Only the family matters, worldly things. So get out of the house once in a while to spend the whole day in the company of either the holy men or the devotees who chant the name of the Lord, bhajans. Spend whole day bhajans, meditation, reading of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. In all these activities you do this, so Sri Ramakrishna used to say, chant the name of the Lord, go into solitude once in a while and do satsanga. That is how the satsanga tradition in the Ramakrishna mission was started by Sri Ramakrishna himself. He used to go to different houses of the devotees and tell them, call all the devotees, let us all today sing the glory of the God and talk about God and God alone. So the satsanga business Sri Ramakrishna started in even before the Ramakrishna mission came, during his lifetime itself. So here also he is writing that sing the name of the God. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, not only that, he used to ask all of us to sing Haribol, Haribol, and also loudly while clapping your hands. When somebody asked him the reason for clapping one's hands, he explained, as the birds of the trees fly away when one claps one's hands loudly, so the sinful thoughts of the mind go away when one chants the God's name while clapping one's hands. Every evening in Dakshineshwar, the master would sit on his bed facing the north and repeating Haribol, Haribol while clapping his hands. Sometimes he would repeat, Hari is my Guru is Hari, O Krishna, and O Govinda, you are my life and soul, not I, but thou. These are all Abhedanda, that is Kali Maharaj, had observed in the room of Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. Repeat Hari. Hari is my Guru is Hari. O Krishna, O Govinda, you are my life and soul. Not I, but thou. I am an instrument, you are the operator. Then Sri Ramakrishna would go into ecstasy. In that state, he would importune Mother Kali, but his words would not be audible to us. Watching his God-intoxicated state, we were amazed. We felt that the Master was in communion with the Divine Mother, that he was talking to her, and that the Mother was answering his questions. We realized that Sri Ramakrishna was not a human being, he was God. This was the experience of Kali. At Dakshineshwar, when as a young man, a young boy, he has come, he is growing there, he is observing Sri Ramakrishna, he is enjoying the bliss of Sri Ramakrishna, and slowly is understanding who Sri Ramakrishna was. It itself was a great blessing. Ramakrishna taught us to practice japam and meditation every morning and evening. About meditation, he sometimes referred to his naked guru, Totapuri's illustration, telling us, Tota used to say that if a brass water pot is not cleaned every day, stains accumulate on it. Likewise, if the mind is not cleaned by meditation every day, impurities accumulate in it. Impurities means mind bad thoughts. Bad thoughts will accumulate in your mind. So Sri Ramakrishna was very insistent on his disciples that every day, morning and evening, don't forget to meditation. See, the same thing has been taught by our gurus to us. But how many of us are serious? How many of us are practicing? At least from today, we should resolve, we shall follow the instructions of our Guru, and we want to see that illumining, that beautiful Sri Ramakrishna at least once in our life, in our meditation. With that determination, every day, morning and evening, we should start practicing meditation without giving it up. We should think it is the most important of important in our life. We should do it because we are wasting our time in what? We are all day and night we are after earning money, and think is there an end to it? Whole life, even if you earn, even then we feel If little more was there, how happy it would have been, how nice it would have been. All right, you have everything, money, car, wealth, everything. But when the last moment comes, do you get interested in any of those things? Do you feel any day, oh, I'm so rich? All your thought will be, what did I do in my life? Sri Ramakrishna says, when that thought comes, God also will laugh and tell you, I gave you so many opportunities, but you did not do anything. So the most important thing in the life, everything in the world is required, no doubt, but it is not all. We have to simultaneously keep up our spiritual life, meditation, japa, singing the name of the Lord, holy company, doing charity to the poor people. All these things should become a part and parcel. Because when we die, money won't come with us. Our cars will not come with us. Bungalows will not come with us. The earned money, the bank account will not come with us. What is it that is going to come? The only thing is how much of japa I have done, how much of charity I have done, how much of sadhu sangha I have done, how much of holy thoughts I had in my mind, how much of meditation I did do. I did. All these things only will come with you when you die. So that is the only reality. These are all Maya. Maya. We should understand and try to escape from this Maya. So the Guru has taught us. Guru has given us mantra diksha. Guru has told what we should do. So along with our daily worldly life, if we can practice these things and remember the God constantly and chant His name as many times as possible mentally, then that is the only wealth you are accumulating for your next life. That is the only wealth which is going to come with you. That's why when a man dies, the buddhi is given. What they call it in English, I do not know. A bag is, a cloth bag is hung with the dead body. There he carries. What does he carry? The Upanishad says he is carrying in that what all the papa and punya he has done. That is going to serve as his lunch on his way to the Yamaloka. So we should accumulate as much as possible punyam. That punyam alone will come with us and not the physical wealth which we have kept, nor the relatives, nor the wife, nor the son. Nobody will come. Only the punyam and papam will come. So God has given this opportunity to accumulate punyam. So we should go on accumulating punyam. And the easiest way which Sri Ramakrishna has taught us repeatedly in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is chant the name of the Lord. Chant the name of the Lord. So let us all chant that name and become blessed in our life. So he says, chant Haribol, Haribol. O Krishna, O Krishna, O Govinda, you are my life and soul. Not I, but thou, that is, surrender yourself. Think that I am an instrument, you are the operator. Then he would go into samadhi. In that state, he would importune Mother Kali, but his words would not be audible to us. Watching his God intoxicated state, we were amazed. We felt that the master was in communion with the Divine Mother directly, that he was talking to her, and that the mother was answering, but we could not hear the answers. We could only hear what he is talking. We realized that Sri Ramakrishna was not a human being, he was God. Abhedananda was fortunate enough, even before taking the sannyas, even when he was doing service of Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, he could realize that Sri Ramakrishna was not an ordinary being, he was God himself. Further writes, Ramakrishna taught us to practice japam and meditation every morning and evening. About meditation, he sometimes referred to the naked Guru Totapuri's illustration, telling us, Tota used to say that if a brass water pot is not cleaned every day, stains accumulate on it. Likewise, if the mind is not cleaned by meditation every day, impurities accumulate on it. Impurities means what? Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya. All these impurities should go from our mind. The only way is meditation, repeating the Lord's name. So, sometimes while teaching us, the master would tell us about his own sadhana, how Sri Ramakrishna was doing spiritual practices. It's all in detail explained in the Sri Ramakrishna, the great master, or the divine play. There, if we read, we understand how much of spiritual sadhana Sri Ramakrishna did. He says, when I meditated, I became like a motionless stone image. Sometimes birds sat on my head, but I could not feel them. In fact, during deep meditation, when the mind becomes still and motionless, one does not notice if flies or mosquitoes sit on the body. The master used to say that this is a sign of absolute concentrated mind. Sri Ramakrishna underwent all this, and later on he made his disciples, the 16 sannyasin disciples, also feel all these things. Abhedananda, if he sits on meditation, he would sit like a statue. A Buddha statue in meditation we have seen. In same form, Abhedananda could sit. Even if you go and shake him, he will not recognize it at all. He will not feel the body at all. Losing the body consciousness, he used to sit. So also Swami Vivekananda, much more we see. If he sits for meditation, he will lose all outer consciousness. Sri Ramakrishna says it is possible for everybody to feel, to experience, but a constant practice and the great desire. I also should become like that. Such a desire should be in the minds of the devotees. They also can practice like that as much as possible, and the grace of Sri Ramakrishna will come. Just as the grace on Abhedananda on the very first day it came, Sri Ramakrishna just wrote a mantra on his tongue and touched his chest, and he Abhedananda sat like a motionless. He sat and he was like a statue. Hours together he sat, he did not draw. Only when Sri Ramakrishna came again and touched his body, slowly he came into outer consciousness. And he said, what a bliss I enjoyed. What a bliss I enjoyed. So, all the bliss is within ourselves. But a desire should arise in our mind to experience it. So this is the first part of Swami Abhedananda's life. The next, how he serves Sri Ramakrishna in the Kashipur Garden House, and how he becomes Swami Abhedananda, getting the name by Swami Vivekananda, and what is his future life. We shall see on next Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.